Yes. Like the Double Mint twins. Double your pleasure and double your workload. 2 3885 message boards. I swear, we really do need a 3885, .net website or something like that, because it's now getting way too hard to keep track of all this stuff. That would be good. First of all, 3885 website, which would basically say, we own the frequency because that's how the nets work. Well, we have a website. It says we're supposed to be on the air, so there you go. Yeah, and then hot links to the SDRs, or even have them open up right from that page, or maybe have them embedded in frames. Yep, there's a lot of interesting stuff that can be done. But in the meantime, we all, as in y'all, have to keep checking now both SDRs, because you never know where someone's going to post their opinions, and they do post their opinions.
Well, I tried starting that, if you remember, our own 3885 message board, and our friend, I'm sure he's listening, Mr. Feff, purchased a ton of domains that evening and said he was going to head that up, so I stopped. I even started making the board and everything, and then I just deleted it all. Maybe if I start, doing it again, maybe he'll get remotivated. I know he's a real busy dude, but that's no excuse.
Yeah. Hello, N1 GIC.
It's the Gick.
Hello.
Yes. New Hampshire, where the cows move and the birds, depending on how many bubbles you've had, do strange things. Hello. And thank you for letting me say good evening to all. Clark, it's a pleasure hearing you as always. And to everyone else that's here. Everyone's also. Please continue with the conversation. Should I have something that's even worth contributing, I shall make an attempt.
All right.
Yeah, well, we sure don't have anything worth contributing, that's for sure. Good evening. W3MMR. But yeah, Clark, maybe I'll start that up again if I get motivated. Because I'm definitely not motivated at the moment. I'm about to stuff my face with, as you said, fart starters.
When you said you had to go get some food, I thought you were hearing bells ringing out in the neighborhood. Oh, look at that. Gary is right on it. He says hi to everyone. What's this? New planet found? Oh, this is from today also. Pissed Off Pete. What am I reading here? It's not the 15th. Oh, it is. Oh. All right, so here's the quick rundown. Gary's considering going to Nearfest. Or is this from yesterday? What in the hell is the day today? I'm so messed up.
Today is the 15th. Yesterday was my birthday. So today is the 15th. Good evening, Gary. I saw that earlier about the new planet being found. I'm going to have to Google this and see what that's all about. New planet found. That didn't work. I would like to go to Nearfest, but I'm definitely not going to make it this fall, maybe in the spring. Convince my father to go, because we were supposed to go this past spring, but he had some stuff come up. So, now here we go. Water found on a potentially life-friendly alien planet. Water found for the first time on a potentially habitable planet. up to 50% of the atmosphere of K2-18 Bravo may be composed of water. Wow.
Well, we're safe from any invasions. All people have to do is listen to ham radio frequencies, and no one's going to invade the Earth.
I know, right? Either that, or it's going to make them want to invade from all the my knee, my back, my neck, and my back type conversations.
When you consider all the RF litter that we throw out into the, into space, they might just want to be done with it just because it's like, man, that one planet over there in that solar system is just so noisy. And it's not even interesting stuff. So that's where the Planet Crusher would come in.
I know. Imagine if you could see RF, and what the Earth would look like from space with all the crap coming off of it. You know how we listen in space for RF, we're way deep out in the space for radio waves, and I'm sure if there's anybody on the other side of the universe doing the same thing, they probably know all about us, which is why we've had visitors from other planets, which I don't know much about, but I don't doubt it. With how big the universe is and how much is out there that we don't know about, and how long it's been around for, and how little time we've had our technology, which has only been we've really only had technology for the past couple hundred years, any substantial technology that could, put us out into space, or really, start to learn about our planet and learn about the universe. So I'm sure there's other planets and other beings out there that are way more advanced than we are. But that's just my take on it. Maybe I'm weird.
Yeah, I think they are among us. I've been on numerous dates where all I've thought to myself is, you cannot be from this planet. Well, the stuff you've been saying all night tonight, there's just no way.
I don't want to take like 1 million years for the stuff to get there, though, the broadcast.
Yeah, because our stuff travels slowly, but if you can channel it through wormholes and stuff like that, you can get your signals out a lot faster. And it's not so weird to think like that, because you go back a few hundred years and look at all the stuff no one knew about. What light waves are particular or actually wave, and where they prove that light waves have both particulate and waveform characteristics to them. Sunburn. Oh, how do sunburns? And now I got a phone call from Alf. Rob, why are you calling me while I'm keyed up? I'll call you back. Anyway, isn't it hard to think when your phone's ringing? Okay, good. Radio waves. Well, I don't see radio waves. I can't hear radio waves, therefore they don't exist. Yeah, they do. Microwave radiation. All of a sudden, look, that thing over there is cooking from the inside out. Microwaves. So I think we still have a lot to learn. And one BCG.
W3MMR. Good evening, Brett. I think that was George that just keyed up. Hello, George. I agree, Clark. But yeah, you're right, Brett. I mean, it would take millions and millions of years. So it's just if a planet was 1 light year away, it would take 1 light year for the radio waves to reach said planet, which I don't know what the conversion is, light years to miles. Maybe I can look that up too. Google's a great thing, Let's do a light year to mile conversion. Here we go. Wow, 1 light year Wow, that's a lot. It's crazy that they actually, in Google, on the Google conversion, oh my God, light year, kilometer, meter, centimeter, millimeter, micrometer, nanometer, mile, yard, foot, inch, nautical mile. They actually have a light year conversion on their calculator. That's great.
So, how was the Hamfest?
It was great. I had a really good time, man. Got to meet a lot of people. Put the eyeball and handshake on people, as they say. Some deals on some stuff. Convinced my dad to buy a HQ 160 that he didn't want to buy, but I convinced him to buy it because it was his first receiver, and the thing was in really good shape, and it was super cheap. So I ended up getting that. I ended up getting a few things himself, a Ten-Tech tuner, which he actually bought me for my birthday, which was nice of him, and some other odds and ends. But it was good. It was a good time. There wasn't as many vendors there this year as there was last year, but there seemed to be more people walking around. So it was good. I spent more time there than I've ever spent. We got there at about 8 o'clock, didn't leave till probably 12. Normally we leave around like 10, but we stuck around, man. It was just blabbing with people, So it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, I was debating going, and it was more for meeting people, because there's a lot of people I've never actually met, but it was kind of yucky in the morning, and that was perfect weather for dirt bike riding. I went quite far away. I made it out to Bass River, which is an area I've never ridden in before, and rode a lot of dirt roads and trails all over the place until I came out on the Garden State Parkway. There's power lines that run alongside that for a while, and then headed home. It's about 100 miles. It was really ideal conditions, because it was like light rain at times, but not really enough to get you wet, and no dust. Nobody was out there except the deer and the pheasants and the turkeys, and it was pretty cool. So I hate when you got two good things to do on the same day, but it worked out because I got enough of this junk. But I would have liked to have met. I would have liked to have met you and your father and the HQ 160.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, I would have loved to meet you. But, there's always other events and always next year. So, with the way I've been eating lately, I don't know if there's going to be a next year for me. Man, these beans are good. Phew, my dog's not going to like me a little bit. I know that. Anyway, the weather cleared up. It was crappy in the morning. Walked out. I left here about 6 o'clock to head over to Jersey, and it was soaking wet outside, and I was like, man, it's cloudy. Like, what the hell? Got to his place, started clearing up a little bit. We ate breakfast, and then right when we were about to leave, the sky started to get dark again, and then we drove through a passing shower on the way there. But by the time we got there, in that 6-mile drive from his place to the Hamfest, it cleared up and it was sunny by the time we got there. So it ended up being really, really nice. It was a little humid, but I mean, it's splitting hairs. And the only thing was, man, there was a lot of flies, like regular black flies. They were everywhere, and it was driving me nuts. I wasn't the only one, but besides that, it ended up being a really good time. And the lack of vendors was kind of a bummer, and I'd say 95% of the people were asking way too much money for everything. But I was able to find a few deals. He found a deal on that HQ 160. But besides that, man, people were asking stupid prices. It was kind of aggravating. It's like you almost want to ask these people, like, who do you think you are? Like, you just trying to, take advantage of someone that doesn't know, you know, and hoping that, you know, somebody's going to come up, be like, oh, what's this? Oh, is this an antenna tuner? Oh, $300 for an MFJ Versa Tuner 5 and the older one? Oh, that sounds like a good deal. You know what I mean? Like, they go for $150 online all day long. And the guy was asking $300 for it. It's just stuff like that, you know. It's agitating to me. But besides that, all in all, it was a really good time. W3MMR.
And WB2HJK.
Hey, George.
Past KD2AFL.
Hi, Daryl. Hi, George.
You know that guy's going to be taking that antenna tuner home.
Oh, absolutely. That's all my old man kept saying. He's like, it's their fault. They're just going to be packing it up and bringing it back home with them.
Hey, Daryl.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, go ahead, pick it up.
So, Perry, did you find you a big amplifier? A big one?
They didn't have any big ones. Well, I probably would have bought one. The biggest amplifier I had was an SB221. And yet again, the guy was asking way too much money for it. He wanted I think he wanted $1,000 for it. It was relatively clean, but it had original tubes, you know. So everything was intact with it. It wasn't gutted. It wasn't, you know, mono banded. It wasn't anything like that. But you know, yet again, somebody wanted way too much money for it. But no, Daryl, I didn't come on with any 3CX 20,000s.
Whatever happened to Hamfest pricing, you know? It sounds like it ought to be cheaper than eBay, and it doesn't sound like it is.
It definitely wasn't, man. It was brutal, some of the prices.
I can't figure that out, so,
And
well, I'm just going to wait for Nearfest.
you know, there's going to be more boat anchor stuff there.
Get a good deal up there. Never been to Nearfest.
But there really wasn't. I did get a roller inductor, an Air Core roller inductor. I forget how many Henrys it is. I got it. It's on the. There's a little sticky thing on there. It says it, but I'm starting to collect parts for a balanced tuner build. But I just got a new tuner today, so that's obviously going to be down the line. But, you know, it's just one more thing to do in this crazy hobby that we blow all our money on.
Yeah, I was dabbling with you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait for Nearfest. That's what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll get something up there. Perry.
Oh, okay. I was just saying a minute ago, I don't think I'm going to make it to the fall one this year, but we were supposed to go to the spring one last year, but didn't make it. Had some things come up, so hopefully this spring I'll make it up there and meet a bunch of you guys. So, is there a Hamfest coming up at Sellersville, I heard?
I don't know. I haven't been looking online. I'm just going to wait for Nearfest. I don't know. I haven't been no Hamfest, none this year. So I figure I'll go up to Nearfest.
All right. Well, yeah, man, if you go in the springtime, maybe we'll get to put the eyeball and handshake on you. I met a lot of 11-meter guys there today. There's a lot of them guys that I talked to, that I used to talk to on there. It was pretty cool, man, to see some of them guys I've been talking to for years. That was probably, you know, my favorite part about it was meeting guys that, you know, I talked to for so long, and it's always cool, man, because you always, you know, when you don't meet somebody, you talk to them over the radio for so long, you always envision what, you know, said person looks like. And, you know, it's cool to, you know, I don't know, I think it's cool to see how right or see how close you were with thinking how they look. I was pretty right with some of these guys, but other guys, man, they sound like they'll be like, you know, 500-600 pounds, and you meet them, they're like $150 soaking wet.
Yeah, because I know you don't look like you 180 pounds. I mean, looked at your call sign or something I was going through, and I was like, I know that ain't you. I look like a fat boy looking for cake.
Yeah. Oh man, looking for that ice cream there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know that ain't you on that page. Yeah, I think that was QTH or something. I don't know. I know that ain't you. Can't be. I said nope. He just fooling everybody.
Do you remember the ad on TV that MMR used to have? This was a while ago with the guy dancing. Do you remember that?
I think I remember vaguely something about that.
The fat guy dancing. Hey, it did pretty good too. It's just it's an MMR commercial.
I was trying to find it on YouTube. You can find all that stuff on YouTube, man. That's funny. Anyway. Oh, yeah, no, that was on QRZ probably, so that's me. A few pounds ago. But that's me.
No way. No, you don't sing like that. Nah.
I don't wear them headphones all the time, but that's me. For picture's sake, I had to put the headphones on and look all official ham radio, the real hamsters out there. That's funny.
Was there much in the way of parts at the fest?
Not really. No, a lot of junk, honestly. A lot of little stuff, stuff to make dipoles with, and that lady was there who sells all the adapters and, connectors and SO239s and all the tiny stuff. She was there. But I mean, as far as, good parts to build stuff, it was few and far between.
Yeah, I don't know if it was last year or a year before. We got some good high-power resistors and a few other odds and ends. There really wasn't much in the way of good radios and everything. And it always amazed me, some of the stuff that people bother to bring to the Hamfest, I frequently think, like, why didn't you guy just throw that in the trash? Why is he trying to sell it?
You KJI there?
For the whole band. And right. I mean, I was saying that about a lot of stuff, Brett. And a lot of the stuff I was saying that about was way, super ridiculously priced at the same time. So, well, what are you going to do? Gotta love it. Maybe next year. Isn't that what they say? Yeah, maybe next time.
Was KJI there?
Hey, while I have the assembled multitudes here, I'd like a survey, a preferential survey, and tell me what you prefer. Do you prefer this audio, or do you prefer this audio? This is audio number 2, and this is audio number 1. Which is the preferred audio? Please vote now.
Was KJI
2. I vote 2. Somebody in there trying to say something. 1. Number 2. Who was that, Bear?
Me, personally, but this guy keeps asking if KJI was, I don't know, KJI. So I couldn't tell you. I didn't, nothing of that stuck out to me, I'm sorry.
Okay, he's a big vendor, a big New Jersey vendor.
KJI. Oh, that sounds familiar. They used to have a place up there in Caldwell.
Hold on.
Yep.
XPM.
Say that again?
The guy that sells a bunch of tubes.
That's right. It's Cedar Grove.
Yeah, Cedar Grove. I went to that guy's house. I remember he used to sell out of the house, and then he was in a place up there in, what's that, West Caldwell? Gene. I think that was his name, Gene?
Yep, it was Gene. Yeah, he used to be on Bloomfield Avenue, and then he moved up to, I can't remember the name of the street, up there in Cedar Grove.
Yeah, I went to his house up there in Cedar Grove. Wow, maybe 20 years ago. I think I brought an MK706 or something. Yeah, I remember Gene. And then I started seeing him when he had that shop. Yeah, wow, Gene. He's up there in age now. Wow.
Where's the station, by the way? I hear him, but it sounds pretty far.
I don't know. The station out there, what's your QTH? I was talking about Gene. What's your QTH?
I like number 1.
Where are you?
I vote for number 1 also.
NYXBM. Do I have enough signal here?
Yeah.
All right. Oh. I don't know if I gotta hook up a bigger amplifier.
Well, whatever you did, it brought your signal up here in Queens.
We like you just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
I'm choking. I'm trying to eat chili. I think I had swallowed some chili peppers or something, or inhaled them.
WB2HJK.
Well, it might have been a song, but I think it was disco.
Just the way you are. I don't know. I'll think of it, but I'm not gonna. I'm terrible at singing. Anyway, yeah, Brett, I like number 1. It seemed brighter to me and a little more clear.
Again.
Okay. Well, this is actually number 2, but I'll go. This is number 1. This is number 1. And I'm not going to say what is what, but this is number uno. Number uno. Hello, test. And this is number 2. Number 2. Number 9. Number 9. No, that's the Beatles. Number 2. And back on number uno.
I think number 2 is louder.
1 sounds more natural.
It has more highs.
Yeah, numero uno. I'm confused.
Okay, well, this is number 2, I believe, depending on what you start with. Yes, number 2. This is the modern solid-state dynamic microphone. So now that you know, and this is the D104, which they both have some tonal controls I can manipulate, but D104, modern stuff. So there you go.
D104.
Quick question.
D104.
D104.
No, you're just saying that because it's a D104.
No. George has a question.
Hey, Brett.
Yes, George.
Yes. Quick question. How do you switch mics so fast?
I have a toggle switch.
Oh my gosh, George's new project.
Multi-mic thing?
No, well, how do I switch? Well, the transmitter takes line level input. So I have my D104 plugged into my homebrew speech processing gizmo, and I have the dynamic microphone, which is a high-end, I think it was actually over $30, Audio-Technica going into a Behringer box, and I just switch the line level outputs between them. I also have a phasing switch I can switch and all kinds of other neat things. but I can vary. Like I can take the low end out, and I can sound like military stuff, or I can add the low end, and I can take the high end out, and I can sound like some of the hi-fi guys, how they sound to me, and I can turn everything up all the way and scream into the microphone.
Okay. My only question was, I was looking for some kind of device like MFJ had some years ago. It was like a mic switch, had a bay of 8-pin connectors, and I thought that's what you were using. I haven't seen one of those around for a long time. Go ahead, guys. Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Heil makes they make a microphone with two different elements in it that you can select, and one is like the DX element, and the other one is like the full range element. That's one modern way of doing it too, but his stuff's expensive. Not that I begrudge him the money, but they've never actually had a Heil microphone.
Well, I concur with the rest of the group. It's
boy, you're quite strapping at the moment there, George.
It's propagation.
I think it's the big amplifier you got on.
He rolled out the Henry 10K.
I think it's the big amplifier you're running.
Yeah, he's running a Henry 8K over there.
He rolled it out of the closet.
I got a more important question. What's Billy vaping tonight? Boysenberries, strawberry peach haze? I mean, what's he vaping tonight?
Milk and cereal.
Cake.
Milk and cereal?
Yeah.
I'm vaping PB Crisp. Tastes like peanut butter crunch.
Oh, man, I thought you were going to say the Acapulco Bowl.
Not yet. Soon.
Hey, N1XPM, I didn't get your name, and kind of curious what antenna you're using.
I think I'll correct that. Let me see if I got it. All right, N1XPM here, Bob in Raymond, Maine. And the antenna is a 250 some odd foot loop, about 50 feet up, horizontal, in a Delta configuration.
Well, propagation is going in your favor. You're getting stronger by the minute. Hi, Bob. George here in Queens, and making it on pretty well right now.
Okay, George in Queens. Yep, I'm on a Viking too, doing about a not quite 100 watts power, and I'm using a Sotwell. On my end, I guess it doesn't matter to you, but my receiver is a Soft Rocket SDR. I don't know how many years ago I built. Excuse me. And Electrotech button element microphone. Going into a Symmetrix 52080. That's the shack.
Sounds nice. Did you say a homebrew mic?
Why is George the channel master?
I am not.
You kind of are.
George is the sergeant of the arms on the channel. Yeah, well, when I say homebrew, it was an MXL microphone that crapped the bed, and the guts were yanked out, and a little Electrotech button element got shoved in there, and a 9-volt battery. And so when I say home brew, it's not like like I actually made the element. It's more like pieces and parts were put together. The microphone was built in that fashion.
Got it. Thanks, Bob. Hey, Clark, thank you for the but it's Mother Nature.
Well, apparently I think you've got the strongest signal on the frequency right now.
It's his Isotron.
Yeah, I wish.
It's a badass antenna, man.
Clark, you should switch over to the Antron 99.
I'll be down the noise level.
Well, you're keying on people, man. You're strapping. Whether it's propagation or not, George, doesn't matter. You're still putting a pretty damn good signal out there, man. 2 thumbs up.
Well, most of all of you, you're 20, 30 over here, all of you.
I'm just a mud duck.
Well,
Quack, quack, quack.
hey, all I can say is I love this propagation.
The band's a little noisy here tonight. Noise floor is a little elevated for me. I'm hearing you guys all about the same. You're all about 10 over at my location, so I mean, despite all the noise, hearing you guys just fine.
Yeah, you're coming up in signal as we speak.
Yeah, Bob, you're about 15 over down here around Philadelphia. Sounding good.
Yeah, I can see the PB and Crunch haze from here.
That's right, man. The sweet, peanut buttery goodness.
Thought it was supposed to be creamy goodness.
Well, I have creamy goodness. No, I'm out of creamy goodness. No ice cream, man. I'm over here scratching.
You had me worried there for a minute.
Yeah, I worry myself all the time, George.
You can tell he's worried. His poor name is, what is it? Oh, Mr. Softy.
That's right, Mr. Softy is my porn name. Yep, yeah, Mr. It could be Creamy G too. I mean, that's pretty pornographic.
Did we turn on a TMI gauge?
I had mine unscrewed. I leave it out of the socket pretty much whenever I'm on this frequency.
My light bulb burns out on mine.
Is that something you can buy from DX Engineering, a TMI light?
I wouldn't bother buying it until they come out with the LED versions, because I've had several incandescent ones that explode suddenly because of things that get said, and you end up with like hot glass fragments all over the shack. It's very problematic.
It's like the Green Mile is what you're saying?
You know, that movie was just on TV today.
No kidding, it was, huh? It's like, whoa, back the truck up, Clark. I'm calling official shenanigans on you. You told me you don't own a TV.
Oh, checkmate. I didn't say I was at my house when I saw it.
Ah, all right. Well, I got to keep things in line on this frequency.
You know, it's like one of my favorite quotes in life. The truth is whatever you want it to be, as long as you say it with conviction.
Yeah, oh, never mind. I won't go down that road.
See, now, personally, I like the George Costanza line. It's not a lie if you believe it. Good evening, Kitty 2 AFV.
Oh, we have a new channel master.
Yeah, Toby, you just knocked my drink off my desk.
Why? What did I do? How we doing, Perry?
Doing good. You're over there dropping malls, man. Mall dropping.
Dropping.
Toby?
Why, hello.
Yeah, hi. George here, Queens, New York. What's left of it. And I'm wondering, what antenna do you have tonight? Mine is a, what is it? Oh, an isotron. Go ahead. Because your signal is snow wrapping.
Well, the antenna isn't much. It's it's just a resonant dipole at, oh, shoot. I would say it's probably, the apex is probably 30 feet up, and the ends are probably like 28, 29 feet up. Nothing fancy, though, just it's like 100 feet of coax going out to a bowline. Just a dipole cut basically for this frequency. But I do have a Philly knows about it. The tuner I'm working on, so I'm going to once the weather cools off, sorry, starting to fall asleep here. Once the weather cools off, I can get up into the attic of my shack because there's about, I would say 30 or 40 rather large wasp nests up there, and they're not hurting me down here in the shack, so I'm not really going to bother with them till it's cold and they go to sleep, and I can run my actual balanced line up through there and get out there and get the tuner belt, double balanced tuner. I don't know if you've seen Billy's pictures that he has of his, but it's pretty much going to be just the same thing.
Okay, great. Well, I don't have room for all that, but the oven wire feeder is the best way to go, obviously.
Well, that is one thing I have on my side is I live on a farm. So, room, I got room for everything. I mean, if I had the time and the money, I could put up a rhombic for 160 if I really wanted to. The only big problem is I don't have any trees. So any antenna, I have to build the support for it.
Sounds like a minimal effort, I should say, a challenge. Given you to have all that acreage. Damn, I'm jealous.
By the way, quick side note here, Gary, on the chat room. What do you mean there's no such thing as a stupid question as long as it's asked with sincerity, Clark? I didn't say anything about stupid questions. Isn't that something people can criticize you by remote control just with a keyboard? Frustrating.
Doesn't the president do that?
Good one.
Yep. I tweeted him, too.
And what did he have to say?
I'm still waiting.
Gary, we're going to go back and forth on this. Come on now. 1, 2, 3, take a chill pill, lighten up, and all that stuff. Yes. A round of chill pill for the bartender. No, I was saying the truth can be anything you want it to be as long as you say it with conviction. Has nothing to do with stupid questions. All right, glad we could clear the air. I know this makes no sense for anyone who's not reading the message board. Sorry about that. I'm done.
Hi, I got a big sale in my town.
Bruce, the fishing gear is in the kitchen.
What kind of gear?
The fishing gear is in the kitchen.
Oh, well, I heard they sold the marijuana dispensary in my town.
What, they had a vending machine?
Now, you gotta believe this. This lady walks into the dispensary. It's not very big. Maybe 25 by 25, the building. She walks in, could I speak to the owner? And the owner comes out, it's a lady. And says, I'd like to talk to you about buying your business. Well, it's not for sale. Says, I really think you should talk to me. So they go in the back room for a little bit. They come out, and she goes to her employers, yeah, I just sold the business. Well, the lady came up from Florida, the one that walked in there. She's about 35 years old. And she gave her $10 million in cash and another $10 million over the next 3 years for the business. That's not too shabby.
What does $10 million in cash look like?
What was she smoking?
There, I heard it from a very reputable source that's working on her new house down the shore. I guess she bought about a 5,000 square foot house down somewhere in Connecticut shore, and bought the 2 houses next door to each other so she could put her big dock in, because she also bought a 130 foot boat to put there. So Yeah, unbelievable though. $20 million for that little shack downtown. But it's the license and it's a cash business.
Is she looking for a husband? Is she single? What's the deal?
I don't know. They probably got a machine for that. Well, her money, the money they make at the dispensary, they can't deposit it in the bank because it's a federal crime to sell pot.
That's number one. Number two, you had what raised a flag with me is she got a dock and a boat. Anybody hear that?
Well, yeah, she bought that, but she has she's a pharmacist, so it's a legal Connecticut dispensary, which is what we have here, medical marijuana. Yeah, because she owned the other pharmacy in town and she sold that, and she opened this place up. It's just, it's unbelievable. My buddy works over there. He's one of the pharmacists, and his bonus for this year was $135,000 bonus. And it was in cash.
Isn't it like selling booze? Don't you have to have like a license, and is that transferable to anyone? Like you can't just walk in and buy a liquor store. You have to be licensed.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure they transferred it over, but you have to be bonded too, and it takes, from what I hear, it's about $3 million to open up one of those dispensaries. Because you have to have licensed pharmacists, and it's pretty lucrative though. Well, look at Colorado, But yeah, $20 million, not bad for a business that's been open, I'd say about 8 years.
I know you have to have. I remember in Pennsylvania when they were. Starting up the medical marijuana thing, and I was reading into it. You have to have just to get the paperwork started. You have to have a minimum of $1 million in capital, just to start the process of being able to try to open up a dispensary. You have to have at least $1 million in capital. So it's not easy to open up your own place or get any of the licenses or anything like that. Then, you have to jump through all the federal stuff to worry about. But sooner than later, it's going to be legal in the United States to some degree. Whether it's medically, legal federally or recreational, there's just too much money to be made, and it's not a dangerous substance by any stretch of the imagination, and it's just like it's what blows my mind about this whole vaping thing, and because like 5 or 6 people have died in vaping related illnesses from people selling and buying and selling these counterfeit cartridges that people are using, like vitamin E oil and stuff, the ingredients that will make you sick, but they're counterfeit ones. And my point being is they'll talk about banning, vaping basically, and flavors, flavor juices, so on and so forth. But there's still no talk about banning tobacco products, which kill thousands of people a year. From tobacco-related deaths, thousands of people a year. But there's no talk about that. It's because government's got their fingers in it and they make a lot of money off of it. It just, I don't know. It makes me a little aggravated.
Yeah, the CBD oil seems to be the latest craze.
Well, a lot of people use the CBD oil stuff for pain. You can buy that in, regular smoke shops now. You can buy that anywhere. You don't have to go to a dispensary or anything for that, which I'm sure you know. But a lot of people, use that for different types of ailments. And, kids, they're using it for seizures and stuff for kids, and it's like a miracle drug for that. There's a lot to be gained with hemp and cannabis and so on and so forth. There's a lot to be gained and very little to be lost.
Wow,
it's really gone nuts. It's all over the place. People are selling it. The only problem is stuff like that's not really regulated. You really don't know what's in it, whether it's any good, who's selling it, who's making the money, where it's coming from, and all that kind of thing. It's like anything else, vitamin pills, and it just screams out for rip-offs and quackery.
You're absolutely right, and that's up to the consumer to do their own research, because it's not really regulated. So, like I said, it's up to the consumer, but there's a lot of stupid people in this world, as we all know, who don't do the research, who just, CBD oil. Joe has it on the corner, a black bottle with a label they wrote that he made in Sharpie. This looks good, to the majority, that would raise a red flag, but to some, it won't. Anyway, I'm getting out of here, guys. It's been fun. Time for me to get ready to hit the sack. The weekend is over. Back to the salt mine tomorrow. And we'll talk to you guys later on. W3MMR.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Thanks, Rob. Good evening.
Yeah, I figured you would appreciate the Mr. Softy comment.
Oh, that was great, man. I got a notification on Facebook, and Rob says, happy birthday, with a giant Mr. Softy picture on my Facebook wall. That was great.
All right, enjoy the day. I'm glad you had a good time. I got to tune things around here. So N1UF, where's N1BCG? Mr. Wizard.
I'm downing half a bottle of red wine. Why?
What are you going to do with the other half?
That had already been consumed.
Operating amateur radio under the influence of alcohol is a violation of Part 97. I do it on a regular basis.
That's why you know it's a violation.
Tolerating amateur radio.
That's why Chris knows it's a violation. He does it often.
Hi, Chris. Bye, Chris.
Yeah, nice signal, Terry.
Thanks, man. You too. Talk to you guys later. I'm going.
Good night, Perry.
Blue Bob out there.
Always will.
Yeah, sure, Blue Bob.
Good night. It's working.
Strap on, strap off.
Time right now. Believe me, in another half hour, I'll be dust.
Still,
It's working.
well, thank you.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Blue Bob, what's up?
Here pretty soon, but hello, W2BTK.
Yeah, I just thought I'd say hello. Not gonna hang out with the world. Hello.
Oh, and this is W2JBL. I might have forgot to say that.
This is W2 very weak.
You're early on the ID, Chris. You have another 8 minutes.
No, I don't think I think I failed to comply and identify myself at the beginning of each group of transmissions.
You don't have to. It starts at 10 minutes.
Who's counting?
Right. I could torture you people for 10 minutes and not identify, or 9 minutes and 58 seconds.
That's correct.
Leave it
And
alone.
then but if you leave before the 10 minutes is up, you have to ID.
Right. I visited the what Steve TRH and the Albany guys call the secret place over the weekend with a buddy of mine. And man, I picked up this nice Biamp 6-channel 1-rack unit mixer, big rotary knobs on the front, nice limiter built in, real, pro audio stuff, but very utilitarian and heavily built. Man, I love it. Biamp 601, $20.